In El Salvador, over 5.4 million people went to the polls. "15 migrants died off the coast of Libya. And fresh clashes erupt between Houthi fighters and Yemeni government forces. From the headquarters of teleSUR English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm Gladys Quesada. On Sunday, Salvadorans turned out to the polls in the capital to cast their vote at over 8,000 polling stations set up nationwide. Over 5.4 million people went called to elect to the 84 members of the Legislative Assembly, 262 mayors, and 20 deputies for the Central American Parliament. Thousands of police officers, soldiers, and international observers were deployed to oversee the ballot casting process. These observers come from institutions such as the Organization of American States, the European Union, and the World Association of Electoral Bodies. In previous weeks, political tensions grew high after killing of sympathizers of the Farabundo Martí National Liberation Front.
Creo que esa es la expectativa de todos, ¿verdad? Que las cosas cambien de alguna u otra manera. Todos tenemos nuestras expectativas, pues nuestras.
11 people, including a minor, have been killed in Mexico's Jalisco state after an unidentified gunman opened fire on a street in a residential area. The state prosecutor's office said bodies of 10 men were found outside of home in Tonala, a municipality in the Guadalajara area, with another dead man discovered inside. Jalisco, where a former governor was shot dead in December, is one of the epicenters of Mexico's drug-related warfare and home to the infamous Jalisco New Generation cartel. Thousands of people have rallied in the Brazilian capital, Brasilia, to protest against new measures put in place to stop the spread of coronavirus. Brazilian cities and states have been imposing a new round of restrictions in a bid to contain a surge of COVID-19 cases, threatening to overwhelm their already stretched hospitals. Brazil, whose death toll passed 250,000 on Thursday, is struggling to deal with a rising number of infections that had pushed intensive care units off the verge of collapse. The first shipment of medical oxygen has arrived in Peru from Chile to help relieve a shortage of COVID-19 patients. According to health authorities, the demand for oxygen has increased by 200%, and this first batch will go to 6 hospitals in Lima and nearby cities. For the month of February, almost 200 COVID-19 patients have died every day in Peru, 4 times more than in December amid the second wave of the pandemic. According to official figures, almost 100,000 people have contracted COVID-19. 50,000 of which are hospitalized. And the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has eased the country's coronavirus lockdown following a reduction in the number of new infections.
Based on an assessment of the current state of the pandemic in the country, Cabinet, after various levels of consultation with our provinces and metro mayors, Cabinet has decided earlier today to move the country from coronavirus alert level 3 to alert level 1. The new alert level will come into effect later this evening once the regulations have been gazetted.
And we'll take a short break now. Follow us on Twitter at teleSUR English and Gladys teleSUR.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Sean todos muy bienvenidos a Vidas. Hay lugares donde el arte se unifica con el orgullo de los pueblos. Y esos lugares están llenos de colores, alegría, pasión, tradiciones, arraigo, valor y entrega.
Real Life. Fridays. Only on teleSUR.
为了保持身体健康，我冥想。
Para mantenerme saludable, yo corro.
To keep myself healthy, I study.
Για να διατηρηθώ υγιής, τρέφομαι σωστά.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo bailo.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo purifico mi espíritu a través del cuerpo. ¿Y tú?
Guide your body. Tuesdays. Only on teleSUR.
Welcome back to From the South. At least 15 migrants have drowned after the boat capsized off Libya. A spokesperson for the International Organization for Migration said at least 110 migrants boarded a rubber boat from the Libyan coastal town of Zawiya on Friday. She said the boat started to sink early on Sunday and the Libyan Coast Guard managed to rescue at least 95 migrants, including 6 women and 2 children. Just last week, 41 asylum seekers died after the boat sank in the same waters. And gunmen in Nigeria have released 42 people, including 27 students, who have kidnapped from a boarding school last week in the north-central state of Niger. The release comes just a day after a separate raid on a school in the Sahara state saw gunmen abduct more than 300 girls. Kidnapping by armed groups are common across many northern Nigerian states. The recent attacks have also raised concerns about increasing violence by armed gangs and Islamist insurgents. In fact, the jihadist group Boko Haram frequently carries out abductions in Nigeria's turbulent northeast. And we continue. Speaking during his weekly Sunday Mass address in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican, Pope Francis described the kidnapping of the schoolgirls as vile.
I join the bishops of Nigeria in condemning this vile abduction of 317 young girls taken away from their school in Janjebe, northwest of the country. We pray for these girls so they can be back home soon.
At least 5 people were killed after security forces went to arrest Chad's opposition candidate Yaya Dillo at his home on Sunday morning. Dillo, who plans to run against President Idris Deby in a presidential election in April, told journalists that he was attacked at home by members of the Presidential Guard and that 5 family members were killed, including his mother. A statement by the government claimed that the security forces, who had gone to Dillo's house to arrest him for disobeying a court order, only opened fire in self-defense after his bodyguards shot at them. Western Sahara's Polisario Front has accused the United Nations of not doing enough to stop Morocco's occupation of the North African country.
We are a group of entities that militate for the cause of cannabis, and in particular, the legalization of cannabis. There are associations, personalities. We have worked on the issue from a specific point of view and from a social and societal angle. We ended up adopting the main idea of legalizing cannabis as a solution and remedy for drug use in Tunisia.
And a civil coalition of Tunisian activists have called for the legalization of cannabis for medical and recreational purposes in the North African country. The coalition said it was consulting with parliamentarians to develop a legal framework for the production and consumption of marijuana. Under the proposal, the state will reserve the sole right to produce and distribute cannabis. The coalition has argued that the move will provide huge financial returns, given the high number of users who now buy it illegally. And we'll take a short break now, but we'll be right back, so don't go away.
Una travesía para descubrirnos. Buscamos conexiones perdidas.
No nos queda otra que luchar, porque no tenemos nada que perder.
Realmente es por todos.
Recorremos el mundo con reportajes teleSUR.
Saturdays, only on teleSUR.
Who's moving the chess man? What interests motivate the actors behind each event? What's at stake? Critical Move investigates every event from Monday to Friday. Only on teleSUR.
Innovation, science, the technological breakthrough and its influence in society.
Viajeros del saber, el futuro está aquí.
Atomism. Monday, only on teleSUR.
Welcome back. Thousands of protesters were injured in Bangladesh as new clashes erupted between the police and demonstrators in a third day of protests sparked by the death of Mushtaq Ahmed, a prominent writer and government critic in jail. Student activists from the main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party threw rocks and attacked officers with bamboo and plastic pipes, prompting police to retaliate by firing rubber bullets and tear gas. The BNP spokesperson Razvi Ahmed said about 30 student activists of the party, including a senior leader, were injured in the clashes. Several policemen were also hurt, including an officer who has rushed to the hospital. And at least 3 people have been killed in the southern Myanmar city of Dawei when riot police cracked down on protesters who were demonstrating against last month's military takeover. According to local media, about 18 people were also arrested during the protest. Myanmar security forces have been using tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse protests, who have remained in the streets almost every day since the overthrow of Aung San Suu Kyi's elected government on February 1st. The Philippines has received its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines on Sunday, among the last Southeast Asia to secure the critical doses, despite having the second highest number of coronavirus infections and fatalities in the region. A Chinese military transport aircraft carrying 600,000 doses donated by China arrived at an air base in the capital. Vaccinations initially of health workers and top officials led by the health secretary were scheduled to start in 6 Manila hospitals. Aside from the donated vaccines from Sinovac, the government has separately ordered 25 million doses from the China-based company. President Rodrigo Duterte and top cabinet officials welcomed the delivery of the vaccine.
We welcome this day with high hopes of finally ending the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. Today we make another step towards an ongoing fight against COVID-19 as we receive 600,000 CoronaVac doses from the People's Republic of China. I convey my sincere gratitude to the Chinese people and the government of China for this gesture of friendship and solidarity, the hallmark of Philippine-China partnership.
And the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has hailed China's COVID-19 vaccine candidates as he sought to assure citizens of their effectiveness. Orbán, who has already been injected with the Sinopharm jab, indicated that his government hoped to boost its vaccination program by using shots developed in China and also in Russia, as he trusted them. Last week, Hungary became the first country in the European Union to begin using China's Sinopharm vaccine.
The third wave is attacking us, and it will be stronger than the previous two ones. Please register and get vaccinated. This is the only possible way of protection. Just like the tens of thousands of Hungarians in Vojvodina, thousands here in Hungary have already received this Chinese vaccine. Trust the Hungarian experts.
And the U.S. President Joe Biden said his administration will make an announcement regarding Saudi Arabia on Monday, following the declassification of its intelligence report that implicated Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. This comes as the Biden administration faced criticism over its failure to take tougher measures against the Crown Prince, instead of sanctioning average Saudi citizens. Khashoggi, a U.S. resident who wrote opinion columns for the Washington Post, critical of the prince's policies, was killed and dismembered by the team of Saudi operatives in the kingdom's consulate in Istanbul in October 2018. And Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for the attempted drone strike that targeted Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh, on Saturday night.
نفذ سلاح الجو المسير والقوة الصاروخية بعون الله تعالى عملية هجومية كبيرة ومشتركة. تم تنفيذ العملية بصاروخ باليستي نوع ذو الفقار
Meanwhile, fighting in Yemen's Marib province between government forces and Houthi fighters have killed around 50 combatants, including a special forces commander. Earlier this month, the Houthis presumed a push to capture Marib city, 120 kilometers east of the capital, Sana'a. Yemen has been embroiled in a bloody power struggle since 2014 between the government supported by Saudi Arabia and Houthi rebels who control Sana'a and most of the north. Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein has visited Iran for the second time this month to discuss, among other issues, rising tensions in the region. Hussein met with his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif. Posting on his Twitter account after the meeting, Zarif said talks focused on expanding regional ties and international cooperation. They also agreed to reject the United States' aggression against Iraqi forces. And we have come to the end of this news brief, but remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram. For TeleSUR English, I'm Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.
Who's moving the chess man? What interests motivate the actors behind each event? What's at stake? Critical Move investigates every event from Monday to Friday. Only on teleSUR. Pakistani journalist Tariq Ali analyzes the international media influence driven by the empire, acts as an analysis of political, economic, and social life throughout Latin America through our stream and website in English. A critical space committed to truth to determine the conjuncture that moved the world today. The world today. Mondays on teleSUR.
为了保持身体健康，我冥想。
Para mantenerme saludable, yo corro.
To keep myself healthy, I study.
Για να διατηρηθώ υγιής, τρέφομαι σωστά.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo bailo.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo purifico mi espíritu a través del cuerpo. ¿Y tú?
Guide your body. Tuesdays, only on teleSUR. Innovation, science, the technological breakthrough and its influence in society.
Viajeros del saber, el futuro está aquí.
Atomy. Monday, only on teleSUR. We share your feelings, exalt your accomplishments, and show your reality. Our approach is global and keeps us in tune with the peoples. Caribbean countries also get our signal. With enthusiasm, we will continue to broadcast for them. Because we are teleSUR, the news broadcaster from South America and the Caribbean.
Follow the most important global events through a comprehensive perspective. With a team of journalists in 25 locations around the world to convey our people's reality.